Good afternoon, everyone. Retired NOAA meteorological and climate science gold medal winner for the ability to produce and preserve climate data records, telling us that NOAA has manipulated global warming temperatures for political gain. Another United Nations official coming out saying global warming is about destroying capitalism. The temperatures in question range from almost 1 degree C down to 1/10 of a degree, but when we look at this year's temperatures, and they're claiming warmest year ever, it's only 0.02 degrees, so it is not the warmest year ever. And there's already a temperature record controversy due to the placement of the temperature stations next to air conditioning vents and airport runways. We know from ClimateGate how they were trying to reduce ocean temperatures to show a warming trend. Now we got Greenland ice increasing. And if we go back in time and look at documents from the 1970s, wow, that 1940s spike sticking out like a sore thumb, as well as Journal of Atmospheric Sciences. But where did that big blip go? That would have been up at 0.8. News silent on this, except the true news. Breitbart, RT, Climate Depot, what's up with that? Wall Street Journal, yet all the other mainstream media silent on this because they want to keep the agenda going. Remember to join me on iTunes and Stitcher Radio for mini Ice Age Conversations, my new podcast. And while you're watching the video, please remember to subscribe and pass this through your social media. There's been so much controversy for years now about the temperature record because NOAA places these temperature recording stations right next to air conditioning outlet vents, on rooftops, and right next to runways in airports for takeoff and landing. Now, retired NOAA meteorological expert, gold medal winner for keeping science intact to produce and preserve climatic data records, comes out and says, you know what, they've been lying to you the whole time for political gain to get the U.S. into the Paris 2015 climate agreement. Price tag, $100 billion in funding was going to be lost if they showed cooling. It all revolves around a computer model used that was defunct. They knew it was wrong. They knew it didn't give correct readings, and they even manipulated temperatures and input things dishonestly to show a warming trend. Now, this follows on the heels of ClimateGate back in 2009. If you didn't know what that was, this is an example. They tried to lower temperatures and reduce the 1940s heating blip so that it would show a steady upward temperature gradient versus that huge spike in the 1940s. And then United Nations official comes out and says this whole IPCC global warming is about redistribution of wealth and destroying capitalism to usher in a world government based on socialism. It's the first time in history mankind has been set out the goal to develop an economic model to intentionally redistribute wealth. This is an amazing article on Armstrong Economics. You need to read that one. And then digging through the news that actually published this article, sea surface temperatures range from a deletion, admission, or manipulation of 0.08 down to 0.03. They doubled the warming. Unbelievable. And then if we look at RSS and University of Huntsville, Alabama temperatures, if we're talking about December, it's only in 9th place. But the entire year, look at that, goes down to the hundredths of a decimal point. And when we're talking about these types of manipulated temperatures, this is definitely not the warmest year ever. They're down at 0.02, literally 0.02 of a degree. Taking a look at the flawed NOAA data compared with actual raw data in Met Office, difference at least 0.2 of a degree on that. Not the warmest year ever. When we look at RSS values here, 1998, 2016, literally down to 0.02 of a degree. But the manipulated temperatures are a full 0.2 of 1 degree. There is no warming. We are cooling. And all these models they gave us in the past saying the Earth's going to warm like this, the real world observations don't match that at all. And you might ask yourself, why not? Now we got Greenland ice budget increasing the most since the 1990s. That doesn't make sense. And when we look at sea ice as well, we can go back into the early 1914, 1915, 1919 time period. Compared with today, it looks pretty much the same amount of ice. And NOAA, the same ones forecasting that California would be into a mega drought forever. build the desalination plants for billions of dollars, and then we get mega floods this year. They called that wrong too. And not only air temperatures, the manipulation of the sea surface temperatures is the thing that stands out. Judith Curry calling him out right there. She actually resigned because of this controversy and scandal. Extremely accurate sea buoy data has been erased to show a warming trend. They used the old data set versus the brand new data that they had on the most sensitive instruments. This has been going on for at least a year and a half now, this controversy. You go over to What's Up with that. They have a full list. I'd link that below. You can take a look at all the NOAA data. Sea surface temperatures, air temperatures. It is just a full fraud show there. Then they come out and tried to say, oh, there was no global warming pause. And then when you overlap the sets, you can start to see that, A, the flawed NOAA data is definitely quite different than what the global temperatures of RSS were showing during this exact same time period. And now you got to reduce 0.2 of a degree. Unbelievable. NOAA, let's go back into what they said in the 1970s. This is off one of their own publications. It was volume number 4, October 1974, Climate a Key to the World's Food Supply. Let's take a look at this temperature change that they had at that time, showing 1940s heat spike, 1930s as well, Dust Bowl. If you go off the baseline there, we're looking at least 0.6 of a degree from 1920 to warming into 1940. Journal of Atmospheric Sciences shows the exact same thing. But when we come to today's temperatures put out by NOAA, wait a second, that 1940, at least 0.6 of a degree, wait, that just got cut down to 0.3 of a degree. What happened there? And they show that cold in the 1940s tapering off so much quicker than it really did. And then, of course, there's all of the naysayers that are coming out, and I love this one. Well, it's just more office politics than it is science. And the reason Dr. Bates came out with this, he was not obliged by an NDA to stay silent. Yet this article tries to say, well, Bates was not personally involved with the research. Yeah, he was involved with cataloging and data archiving it, not bound by an NDA, or else we wouldn't be hearing from him right now. Jumping over to the news to see who's covering this most gargantuan story. This actually disproves global warming. This goes right into we are cooling right now. This is the biggest news story of the decade in climate. Who's picking it up? RT, Fox News, of course, Breitbart, Washington Times, not Washington Post. Where's the New York Times in there? Don't see them. Live Science. And then I love how Huffington Post says, well, he tried to make a big deal out of fake climate data. That proves that the world's not the warmest year ever. Oh, we made a big deal out of it. What? Now this is straight off of the Google search that I did. Keywords you can see in my search. Page 1. How is it Russian television, Fox News, Washington Times, Climate Depot coming up? And we're still on page 1 here. Live Science, Daily Caller, Breitbart. Page 2, IceAgeNow.info, Robert Felix's site. Zero Hedge, of course, Media Matters, Science House. Bottom of page 2, Real Climate Science, excellent site by the way. Mashable picked it up, WND, and then we keep going on, and then InfoWars got it, and Stream Carbon Brief picked it up, and then we're at the bottom of page 3, No Trick Zone, another must-check-out site if you're looking for real climate data. Daily Cost, Judith Curry's site as well, right at the top, Climate Science versus Climate Data. Judith Curry will be remembered in history for her stance on what the lies that are going on right now. And then Joe Nova at the top, Australian climate site, Liberty Bell. Wait a second, I'm clear down at the bottom of page 4 already. Where is anything on BBC, CNN, ABC? Sydney Morning Herald did pick it up, but the way they explained it was the same thing, trying to offset. Like, well, it's not such a big deal that they manipulated temperatures and try to, save their $100 billion in funding and lie and make sure that global warming continues. No, that's not a big deal. Actually, it's hot in Sydney right now, so forget that. This is actually one of the biggest news stories, probably in the last decade, next to ClimateGate, and no mainstream media is picking it up. It's censorship. They do not want you to see this. Why are the big news outlets not picking it up? Why is it not page 1? This proves there is no more global warming, period. And a little fun fact to leave you with, Your breath has 40,000 parts of CO2 per million. And they are now trying to get you labeled as a polluter. And they're going to tax your breath, and I swear, in the future, they're going to charge you a breathing tax. And here is NOAA lying to you the whole time, keeping you distracted, not letting you prepare. Blood is on their hands. Thanks for watching. Hope you got something out of the video. You can clearly see that we are not in the warmest year ever, and they have to lie, and now they're caught, and next year is definitely not going to be the warmest year ever. And how are you going to explain that? And with that said, please jump over to Trade Genius. Bob and his team are trading on the grand solar minimum crop losses that we're seeing across this planet. They know where the cooling's going to hit. They know what crops are in which regions. We should be preparing for food losses and how to mitigate and move our food growing zones and make sure that 8 billion people can survive through this event.